Hi, my name is Clay Tumey, and this is the Enneagram Prison Project podcast. I realize that we typically upload only one episode per month on the first Tuesday of every month. And, well, here we are in the middle of February, and how about a little bonus episode for once? In this episode, I sit down for a chat with Alex Senegal, who is a fellow EPP Ambassador as well as a member of the board for EPP. Alex is also a dear friend of mine, so the conversation has a bit more of a casual feel and sometimes borders on downright silliness, and that's okay. And we also cover a range of serious topics as well. We're glad you're here. Thanks for listening. This is the Enneagram Prison Project podcast. Thanks for agreeing to sit down with me, man.
Yeah, man.
I actually don't know if you agreed to it officially.
Well, yeah, it was just like arm behind the back. Yeah, we're going to do a podcast later on, right?
Yeah. Because everybody knows that that's how I roll, and that would totally work. No, I literally just, hey, man, you down to chat, tonight? Yes, and you said, yeah, sure. So, yeah, thank you.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to sit in and chop it up with you because, there's a lot to talk about. A lot has happened.
A lot has happened. Yeah. We'll start at square one for the folks who don't know you. And believe it or not, there are people in the world who don't know who you are.
Oh, darn.
Tell us who you are and really anything that you're comfortable sharing. If you just want to only say your name, that's fine. Or if you want to say your type, what you do with EPP, what your history is, what your today is, what your tomorrow might be, anything that you're comfortable with. Who are you? Why are you here?
Yeah, so I'm Alex. I'm Alex Senegal, type 9 on the Enneagram. And I've been involved with the Enneagram Prison Project. Well, truth be told, 9 years. 9 years now. Wow. And that's amazing in itself. The Enneagram, I was introduced to the Enneagram in 2014 while I was in custody. And here we are at 2023. And I'm out of custody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say in custody, you were doing time.
Yeah.
You were on the inside. Yes, and I don't remember which facility you were at. Were you at Elmwood?
Yeah. I was the first class that Susan came and taught in custody in California.
So you were in that first class that she did here, and I've heard the story a bunch, and I love the story. What was your introduction to the Enneagram like?
So she came. I was in a program already. We were in the program, RCP program, Regimental Correctional Program. So she came and threw a pitch out there with a little Enneagram map and what have you. And so only so many people was going to be able to go over to the class. I didn't want to be in the class I was already in. I was burnt out from that one. So she went over to the classroom and everybody went and I lagged behind because I wanted to go because I just really wanted to get out of that in custody program. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to go because they had this symbol. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, I can't go to that thing. That's a cult, man. I can't do that. That's not right. Something wrong. And so then I kept saying I can't do it with something inside of me said, go do it. Yep. And before I knew it, I snatched open the door and there it was.
How long did it take from the first time you saw that symbol till the first time you actually stepped inside and realized, maybe it's not that scary?
It was only about 15 minutes.
Oh, it's quick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a while.
No, I was out. No, because it was all happening. Like, either you're going to do it now. Yeah. You're going to do it now, you ain't going to do it. Yeah.
Do you remember what Susan opened with and what she said and what made it, I'm assuming a lot here that, what was it easy to listen to her or did it take a while to warm up to her? I mean, do you remember what those first conversations were like?
Actually, that was the thing that I was wrestling with because it was so inviting and it was like, this is something. For me, I knew it was something I needed. It's just, that's what kept coming up for me.
Right.
And it was just the way she presented it. She presented it in a manner in which she cared. And you can feel she cared. So that's what I kept wrestling with. I'm like, the woman sounds like she cares about people, but the symbol, I can't get me.
Yeah.
And then so I just ignored the symbol and went on in there. And man, probably one of the best choices I ever made in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the big deal about whether or not somebody cares? Why does it matter if she's there to bring information, knowledge, however you want to put it? Why is it important that she cares?
Everybody can bring information and knowledge. Anybody can do that. But what I've learned is the care component, the love component. And I can use scripture on this one. The Bible tells me that love conquers all things. And when the word all nothing escapes out of that. Nothing's exempt from the word all. Mm-hmm. So in my situation, I was suffering from a lot of guilt and shame and unworthiness. And, I done let the world down again, let my family down again, let myself down again. And I didn't feel like I was worth anything. So for someone to care, regardless to what I was feeling about myself, that was huge. That was just huge. And that's what makes the difference with these in custody programs. Because, I can sit here and put a program together on paper, not giving a sweet whiskey about who it's going to be presented to and what they're going through or nothing like that, right? All I know is that if I do this, I'll put the right information down. I'm going to get a grant. This grant, I'm going to get this money. And then all I got to do is just go in there and give some kind of skeleton program. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. That wasn't what was happening with EPP, with Susan coming in and presenting this program. Man, she wasn't even getting paid. She was doing this for free.
That was the old days. There was no paying. There was no getting paid. There were no grants. There were no dollar signs were few and far between.
Right. So
I think it's a fair point to start, and we won't stay there too long because there's a lot between. You said 2014.
2014. And
so 9 years passed. We got to jump ahead a few years. Man. But I will tell folks that you've talked a lot. You've been very open, and this there's plenty of your story that can be found.
Yeah.
Your story's out there. You've shared a lot of yourself.
Yes.
And if folks want to know more about that and the details of when you talk about let my family down again, that story's been told. And I would encourage folks to go find that and listen to it. And hey, by the way, if you can't find it, give Alex a holler, give him an email or something. And he's open and honest and ready to share that.
Yes, indeed.
And I think there's a lot of value in that. So skipping ahead a year or so, you were released from custody most recently when?
2015.
Do you remember which month and day?
Yes, I do. It was when was it? May the 24th. 2015.
So you're a few months away from 8 years out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you got out, what was release like for you? Where'd you go? What'd you do? What did you find to be easy, difficult, anything?
Oh yeah, well, it was easy for me. It was really easy. Several things had happened. One is that before I got arrested, when I went into custody, I had started up a faith-based reentry program. So the reentry program was going full force. Destiny Reentry was going.
The thing that you started is what welcomed you back.
Mm-hmm. Now, I started. Now I'm a client.
That's like that old hair commercial. Remember that old hair commercial, like the 80s or 90s? Yeah. Not only am I a member, but I'm also not only am I the president, but I'm also the client.
Also the client. So perfect fit. And so, so I had a lot of support from Destiny Reentry, but I also had a lot of interaction, a lot of support from Susan herself, and I mean, she was a mentor. She picked me up, took me by the hand, guided me, and showed me, and kept on interacting with the Enneagram community at that time. Because she was also teaching classes up in Los Gatos, but It wasn't the Enneagram Prison Project. It was a community Enneagram thing.
Gotcha.
So I would go up there and sit and learn on that one. And it was just being around Susan and really just learning a new culture, learning a new language, learning a new way to live. And then she sent me up to Valabrosa for a whole month, dude. I lived literally in Valabrosa for a whole month.
And so at this point, you're an ambassador. You're an ambassador of the Enneagram Prison Project, and I know what Valabrosa is, and most folks probably will. But to anybody who doesn't, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, that's Valabrosa is the facility where the narrative Enneagram is taught. And so I really was blessed to sit at the feet of David Daniels at the time, may he rest in peace, and Peter Hanahan, and Peter and Helen Palmer. Who else was Renee Rosario?
Yeah.
A lot of the big wigs. I mean, I got a great opportunity to just sit a whole month and just
some heavy
learn.
hitters.
Man, there's some heavy hitters, man.
Yeah.
So it was really. And
what was that like?
Man.
And let me ask it this way, because I'm going to say, I'll say the things that most people are uncomfortable saying.
Yes, sir.
You don't look like everybody else that's in that crowd.
Oh, well, that was the beginning of self-acceptance.
Yeah.
That was, really. At this point in time, the Enneagram Prison Project, it was really upper echelon, Fortune 500 company. That's who was really going to Valambrosa.
Yeah. Not big black dudes who just got out of prison.
Not at all.
Right.
Even though there was
just finish saying what I started a minute ago. You don't look the part, as I put in quotes.
Right.
And that makes people uncomfortable to hear, by the way. Can you vouch for me that that's accurate and okay?
That is just bingo, got it. That is an actual fact.
Yeah.
That's fact. You can fact find that. And so the one thing though, there was one black dude that did come through there and sat on the panel, but he was an ex-NFL football player.
Okay.
Had money and all that stuff. So it still didn't. And matter of fact, he wasn't even accepting of me, because
that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
But that was cool. But that was the best thing about it. And that was really the Enneagram Prison Project really starting to get our fillers out there, get our name out there. And so me doing what an ambassador do is really promote the Enneagram Prison Project. I was not ashamed of being, learning the Enneagram in prison. Matter of fact, I thought that was the best thing anyone could ever done.
Right.
And so.
But why though? Why is that?
Well, one is for the fact that someone cared about somebody else who was so broken. Someone cared about people who are so broken, so lost, so destroyed. And I often use the analogy of Humpty Dumpty. He was so shattered, he couldn't even be put back together. Well, many of us incarcerated are so shattered just like that. But the Enneagram is helping put us back together, along with my faith, and in Jesus Christ. That's what is really, for me, has helped put me back together and made me whole.
Glad that you bring that in, because I also want to talk about that, how the Enneagram goes with your faith instead of against or even otherwise.
Yeah.
And Phil has talked about it before. Episode 7, for those who are curious.
Right.
I hope I'm quoting that right. I believe it's episode 7 with Phil and Suzanne. And Phil, being a pastor, talks about how the Enneagram and his faith go side by side down the same highway, just maybe in different lanes. And I talked to my mom a few episodes ago, and it was a big concern for her. Does this jive with what I believe the Bible and my God is telling me is okay? And the answer is yes, clearly. And well, I say clearly, it's clear to me, but it might not always be. And even starting with the symbol being kind of
right.
And then now, so as you sit in front of me, you're saying definitively like that well, I don't want to say what you're trying to say. Keep going on that.
Well, for me, and this is what I come to the sole conclusion of, the Bible would tell you to change. The Bible tell you what not to do. And the Bible tells us how we should have the mind of Christ and all that's fine. But the Bible don't tell us how to change. I can go about like stop using drugs and stop chasing women and all that stuff. Okay, so I can stop, but it never even tell me why I ever do it.
Right.
The Enneagram, it'll help me understand why did I even do these things.
Right.
And once I come to the conclusion and understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, then I can start changing these things that I'm doing. And that's really helped me. The understanding of why helped me understand and know how to stop.
Yeah.
And how to address it. And so that's for me. And then also to be able to develop the true essence, the divine spark. All these are Christ-like characters for me. Christ-like characteristics, and then having the courage and understanding why I have so much fear to live this way. You know, what are the components that makes me feel I'm not even worth living this way? Because when I caught my case, that last case, I was singing loud in church.
Mm-hmm.
I was faithful in church. I was a deacon in the church. I hadn't been ordained a minister yet. And today I am a minister in church, you know. But it's just really a helpful tool that can go hand in hand, you know.
Yeah.
That's, for me anyway, it does.
And there was a story today, and we'll leave out the names because we were in prison earlier today, and and one of the and I'll say the type, and you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Type 3, and he was telling a story about when he was young and stealing shoes, and the reason behind stealing shoes, and it's so easy. It's such a beautiful explanation and description, really, of how we can judge things from a distance and be so wrong about what we saw.
Yeah,
and in this kid's case. He's a man now. He's in his late 20s, but at the time he was a child. Right. And he stole a new pair of shoes and some shorts. Yeah. And it wasn't because he had sticky fingers. It wasn't because he was trying to sell them later from profit. It wasn't because he had a habit to support. Right. It wasn't all the things that we tell people, "Oh, you're so bad. You're a thief. Right. You're a criminal. You're a bad person." Right. Those aren't those aren't true. No. Maybe they can sometimes, but in this case, he was talking about why he stole those shoes, and to bring in what you're talking about, the Bible says don't steal. Mm-hmm. Clear as day. Right. Just don't do it. But the Bible doesn't speak to what that child was experiencing in that moment. Exactly. Which was his shoes were trash. Right. His family was poor. Right. And he wanted to uphold a certain image because it matters. It mattered so much to him. Yeah. And it was a part of that was who he was, that defined who he was. So the shoes completed him. Right. In a way. Now, I can also want to just say this. If Christians would uphold true values and would look out for individuals who don't have, then those don't have people don't have to make them destructive decisions to go steal. Yeah. You know, and so, you know. I'm always comfortable opening up a can. I'll hand you another can if you want to open that one up too. You know, okay. You know, but there's a lot of work to be done in a lot of areas. I don't want to just bash the Christians, but it's a lot of work. We got to do a lot of work. And the bottom line, which is what I want to circle back to, is that you're the third person. I know more than 3, but you're the third person on this podcast, at least, to say that who I am as a believer, as a Christian, as someone who walks in line with what I think is right according to the Bible. Right. Enneagram works with that. I haven't seen no reason why it doesn't. You know, Bible tells me all good things come from the Lord. Yeah, that's what the Bible say. Oh, so you're saying we might have some history that goes way back to then, huh? You know, that's what it say, man. Yeah, I like it. Say. I'm just saying facts. Fact speaks for itself. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So that's one part about being an ambassador, because I'm also, you know, along with being introduced to do the work of the Enneagram, I'm also an ambassador, which I love more. I love being an ambassador. I really uphold this title of ambassador. And you have more titles, by the way. Yeah, there's more titles. You know, even though titles are. Keep going, but we'll get to that. There are more titles to get to. You know, and the deal is to be able to just represent the Enneagram Prison Project. To be able to just uphold his integrity, you know, and be the living, breathing proof of a program, so to speak. Yeah. And it's not even a program, it's a way of life. Right. And that to just be the living, breathing proof that this how valuable this is. You and I were on a bus in Utah a few years ago. You already know. Yeah. And it's a great line in the history of EPP, and you said it. Yes, sir. We're going up the mountain to this resort. We're in a pretty nice little thing happening there, and you and me and Susan and a few others were in this van, and the driver. We were talking about EPP, and the driver turns around and says, "Hey, what is EPP? What is EPP?" And you told him, "I am EPP." Yeah. Yeah. And that's us, man. Simple as that. We embody this thing. Yeah. We put life to it. It's not no words on paper. It's not printouts and slides.
It's human beings, man, that's been transformed, that's been healed, that's been renewed in their hearts and their minds. It's human beings that were so broken and so disgusting, felt so unworthy, so saddened, and just not have purpose, been put back together again. And now here we go. And it's our responsibility to turn this world upside down. For those who are still stuck in this prison of their own making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered being a speaker of some sort?
Uh,
All right, titles. So moving on a few years, you got out. You were an ambassador. You went to Valambrosa. You're grooving along.
Yeah.
And I don't know what year it was, but you did inherit a new title.
I don't know what year it was neither. It wasn't too long ago, though.
It's 18 or 2018, maybe ish, 19, 17. Somewhere in there. It's definitely before COVID. At least I'm pretty sure it was before COVID.
I don't even remember. But
the timeline aside, what else are you in EPP?
A board member? Yeah, that's kind of insane. I wrestle with that hard.
When you say insane, I'm translating that in my brain as that's pretty wild, or that's pretty bizarre, or that's pretty unexpected, or whatever. I don't think it's insane, for the record.
All of the above, okay? Yeah, well, the deal is, going back to something you were saying, and I'm going to complete saying this at Valambrosa. I was the only black male there. And then we had a visitor when one came, and so at that time, I had to know who I was. I had to get to the point, and it offered me a great platform to really put the practice on me being worth something. Not exclude the color of my skin, exclude my education, exclude my background, excluding everything else, to sit and hold my position, my seat right there in the presence of all these people who, in my mind, and I went there several times, was way smarter than me, way richer than me, way better than me. Not one person in there had a felony, okay? And I had to sit there and hold who I am and my value. And all of it, this path I was on, all of it was just a preparation for one step to the next step, for the next step. So when I was invited to be on the board and to sit there, I had to hold myself, and I revert back to Valambrosa, which was the beginning of my solidifying my training up of holding my value. And so then I really had to sit there and know that my purpose there was going to be meaningful, but it wouldn't be meaningful unless I put a voice to it. Because being a 9, I can sit there and let everybody else have all these discussions, and I put on the yeah face, but I won't never speak what needs to be spoken. And I didn't want to do that. I knew I couldn't do that. Susan was there; she was not going to let me do that.
Right. Yeah.
And so I really began to accept, why am I here?
Yeah.
And the purpose, and for me, my purpose for being on that board is still to represent the ambassadors first and foremost, and those who are still in custody and incarceration.
Do you like it?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
It's unfortunate that the microphones can't pick up that smile. It's a big one.
Yeah, man. I love it because, first of all, it's purpose.
Yeah.
And I know this purpose for me in life is a good purpose. This purpose is a meaningful one. It's one that I believe investing. And when you invest in people, you invest in the humanity. It's the best investment anyone can ever make. It's better than investing in the most billion-dollar project that you're going to get a fantastic return on. You can get a greater return if you invest in human beings.
Yeah.
And so we get that opportunity.
What is one more question about the board? Then we'll scoot a few years more into the future, getting closer to now. What are some things about being a board member with an organization like this that matters so much and that does so many good things, connected to so many good people? What's something that you might not have expected going into it. And I know the hours. I know some of those long weekends, the quarterly stuff, and I know you can't talk about all of it. But what has anything caught you off guard?
There's one component I think is just fantastic, and I love it. At first, I didn't know what it was. I was just going along. I didn't know what the heck they was talking about.
Yeah,
but
that's what you're calling the yeah face.
yeah, exactly. And so there's this thing called group dynamics. Before we start, everybody checked in with the group dynamics, and everybody was on.
There's 4 or 5 people, right?
Something right. Like that, 6.
Okay.
And so everybody was, no, I'm good with everyone, and I'm like, okay, so that's all I need to say. I'm good with everyone, but I don't want to talk about nobody.
Group dynamics is a step before the first step, where we say, does anybody have any issues that will prevent us from being present for this conversation?
Exactly.
Did I do that? That was off the top of my head.
That was exactly it.
Okay, cool.
That's exactly it.
And so y'all are doing that before the meetings.
Before the meeting.
Yeah. And
I really started seeing how powerful that right there was. Before if I had an issue with you, and that was my invitation to address it.
Yeah,
and so that way, we as a board, we as a group, we as a collective, we as one can come together as one. Once, if you get all the junk out the way, that's preventing it.
Yeah.
So in saying that what makes us have a very powerful board.
Yeah. That is it's the perfect example of this quote that we have, that we claim to do. The claim to be is that we do the work together.
Yes.
And you're starting off a very important meeting by saying, hey, anybody got a bone to pick?
Right.
And I'm paraphrasing. That's not how it is. It ain't, nobody's checking anybody.
But you're not changing. That's exactly what it is.
The space is there. If I walk in and I'm pissed off at Alex, or not even pissed off, if I just don't understand something. Why did you say this today, or whatever?
Right.
I have a space without guilt or shame or anything else about worrying about interrupting the meeting. I have a space to freely speak about that.
Right. Exactly.
I dig it.
Yes.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. So that component alone really is very powerful. It means a lot to me. And I think it also is one of the key components why our board it's a powerful board, man.
Yeah. It's an understatement, but yeah, I'll just say yeah.
Yeah.
There's some rock stars in there, dude.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that means if I say I'm one of them.
Yeah, you are. You are 100%. I mean, who doesn't believe that?
It's powerful. And the thing is, what makes it so powerful is the love that each one of us have, and it's this thread that we're all threaded and knitted together to bring that love towards the purpose of the Enneagram Prison Project.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask a question. This might get both of us in trouble if there's an answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. And I'm curious, and no pressure to answer if you don't want to. Has there ever been a moment in one of the board meetings where it was a good idea, the intention was in the right place, and all of it seemed okay, and you just went, hold up, this, y'all, and I'll, I'm not, you know what I'm asking, like where you say, hold up, this is not speaking to the people that we're serving, or anything like that.
Well, let me say this here. I'm so sure about this one component that EPP is going to put together. And it's going to be EPPs. It's not going to be EPPs joining together with something that's already established. Mm-hmm. I'm so serious and I'm so determined. And I know that this is the way that we're supposed to do it. I just know it in my spirit. And so I really had to stand up for that.
Yeah.
And I found, actually, truth be told, I was really excited and really determined and had the strength, but the strength came forward, and there was a lot of energy that came forth too when I'm presenting it. It kind of got was presented a little aggressively, but it wasn't because I was mad, but a lot of energy came forth, man, where I just really understood that we gonna get this component. We're gonna get this next component for EPP because it's needed.
Yeah.
And it's really gonna make a big difference.
And I know people listening are saying, Clay, please ask him, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
And that's a no-fly zone.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
All right, well, we dodged the bullet. Nothing too. I don't think anything there needs to get edited out, so we're cool. I tried. I would suck if I was like a Hollywood reporter because I don't like digging. I like talking to people, but I don't like being nosy. I think anything beyond that is nosy. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
So moving ahead a few more years, of course, COVID happened. That screwed up a lot of things. And it also provided a place for us to be able to do a lot of things.
Right.
And I'll skip through a lot of, the public programming, the Zooms, all that stuff. And I want to fast forward to May of 2022. I believe it was May.
Was it May?
Maybe been June.
Yeah.
Last summer, at some point, a little less than a year ago. We flew to the other side of the world.
Man, they gave me a passport.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying this because I had got denied getting a passport for a long time. But I got that passport, and we had a trip over there to Sweden, the other side of the world, man, going through, London, with Heathrow. Man, that place is crazy, man.
It's crazy.
But nuts. But it exists.
Yeah.
To me, it only existed on a movie.
Was that your first time leaving America?
And first time.
It's a long time to sit on a plane for a big old boy like you.
Yeah, it was a long time. I wasn't too enthused about getting on the plane too soon after that neither.
Did you fly by yourself or did you go with
No, it was
Renee and Susan? Because I met y'all there.
Yeah. Renee, was Renee with us?
I want to say Renee got there first.
He got there first. Yeah, he was already there. And then Miss Susan and I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you didn't go unaccompanied?
No.
But it's still it's a new experience.
Man, I just flew by myself the first time yesterday. Okay,
we'll get
there. So Susan, you my norm. If Susan ain't gone, I ain't either.
Right. Hopefully, we broke that pattern this weekend as we talk. But going back to that trip, what was it like? I mean, talk about anything that sticks out to you, whether it's the trip itself or when we're there and all the people were at the conference. The pizza place we went to with Marion. I mean, anything that pops out about that trip for you? Well,
yeah, the whole trip was exciting, and a lot of things can come to mind. I got to give a lot of thought, but what really sticks out though is here we are at this conference. Here we are doing what we just do.
Yeah,
it's nothing special. But what I learned and what I found and what I witnessed is that it don't matter if we're in the United States. It don't matter if we are over in Sweden. It don't matter where we at. The Enneagram Prison Project goes forward and it makes an impact. And it was a huge impact. People were really moved. They were really interested.
Yeah.
Now, some people had never even heard of us.
Right.
But they never forget us.
Right.
And so that was really powerful. That whole little conference, it was like the beginning of a in-person conference again. It wasn't big. It was cool. Yeah. It was a cool gathering.
And the presentation that we did, by we I mean Susan, you, Renee, and me. There's a video presentation on the screen. Susan talks through a lot of the basics of who we are and what we do, and then also the three of us ambassadors share openly. About our experiences, both on the inside and out, how the Enneagram has helped us. And there were a few people there who knew us, who've seen us before. And like you said, there were some new folks. The reaction in that situation is such a wide variety of emotions, reactions, thoughts. It's really kind of a trip to talk with people in a room about something that can be so personal or so distant from their experience.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
And I think a few folks are just heartbroken at the reality of what prison is.
Right. And I think the fact that how broken we're that they learned that we were, and how open we are to let them know that is really it's amazing. That's just it's not an easy thing to do, but we do that. And I hate to tell we do it and we make it look easy, but it's not.
Well, what's hard about it? Why? What is? Because some people might not understand. You speak very well to your experience and to details that are tough to even listen to.
Mm.
I can't imagine how they can seem easy to share. But what is going on inside of you when? And I'll preface this by saying we can edit anything we talk about.
Right.
So if I say more than you're comfortable with, we can cut it later.
Yeah.
But how is it so, from my view, I watch you and it seems like you have quite a bit of ease and comfort in sharing that you had alcohol in your bottle as a small toddler.
Right. Well, the thing it does for me, one is it brings me healing. It brings me healing. Is by no means to demean my mother, because she was dealing with her own stuff, you know, and that's what she had to go through. That's what she was going through, but it helps. That's my healing. It's my truth. It's facts, and it's not uncommon. It really was an uncommon thing, you know.
Yeah.
So the more I can speak to it, the stronger I get, you know. And the deal is, and it brings me healing. It brings me forgiveness. You know, I forgiveness for my mother, forgiveness for myself, you know, and then it helps me realize and understand and accept how much I had to overcome in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it make it easier to kind of cut yourself some slack a little bit?
Yeah. Well, the deal is, when letting compassion come forward. You know, and don't just let me cut. It's just everybody, man.
Yeah,
everybody. And that's why I use love will conquer. I understand. This is just not a scripture or something written on paper. This is something that can be put into action, and then you can really see how come love conquers all things. You know, and it gives you, when you can have that compassion for self, for what you've been through, I'm able to give that compassion to others for what they're going through. Yeah. You know, and to be a difference maker. You know, it don't have to be somebody in the Enneagram community or somebody incarcerated. It can be the homeless person right there on the corner. Yeah. The compassion will flow out. You know, my favorite saying is, that the river of life flows from the inside out. Right. Because it's a pool, a river of compassion inside of me to flow towards this whole entire world.
What is the most difficult thing about being an ambassador? We laugh at that question. I don't know why it's funny. Because there's things do come up. There's a lot of good. First of all, there's a lot of what's good about being an ambassador. We can have that conversation forever. But are there ever days where it's like, well, I don't know. I won't even ask the question. I'll share with you that there are times where I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I've talked about my shit for so long, that I'm tired, and I'm tired. I'm tired of. I've learned how to not judge myself, and it's still tough sometimes. And to be honest, sometimes I'm just tired of people patting me on the back because I don't feel like I deserve all that.
You feel like you just did what you were supposed to do.
I feel like I've done a lot of work, and I'm happy with what I've done and who I've become and who I keep growing into, hopefully. Right. But there are days where I don't want to talk about this shit. And let me hear about you. I want to say that to other people. Like I've been giving a lot. So that's what comes up for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get tired. It does because it requires a lot of energy. It requires. Sometimes I get tired of just dealing with other ambassadors.
Except for me, I ain't one of them.
No, you're not one of them. No, it's just really because years start to go by and I don't never get to the point where I don't want to be an ambassador. But I can get tired. You can't meet all the requirements or all the events or all the things that are. Then if if I was to try to just make all this stuff, man,
Oh, you'd fall over.
yeah. And so
A few months, you'd be out.
burnt totally. So no, I don't do that part. So because I don't do that, that's why I energize. I take my break to energize, but it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it, and not to mention that, being an ambassador, that took me places that I never ever would have went.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talk about Utah, talk about the other side of the world, over in Europe.
Talking about
run down the list of places you've been because
I can't remember. But I'm gonna go with Utah. But one of the things about Utah, and you wasn't at that one when we went to the top of this one mountain on the Eagle release,
right?
Yeah, then took 2 ski lifts to get to the top of this mountain.
I don't mess with ski lifts.
Yeah, that was my first time.
Yeah. Oh, another first. What'd you do in Wyoming?
Oh shoot, I rode a horse, bro.
That poor horse.
I rode a horse. I was riding that cowboy.
Put that horse in traction afterwards, probably.
Yeah, he stumbled twice.
Oh, that's cold-blooded,
So I rode the horse 3 days.
Let me find out that horse said, "Hold on, man, you give me a ride."
Right. Look, so everybody else had their horse, and they rode their horse every time they went out there. They were on the same horse.
Yeah.
But every time I went, they had to try to find a different horse.
This is what I want to know. I want to know that you actually heard a horse when they found out you were about to ride it. I want to know that there's a horse out there that went, "You gotta be kidding me! Are you fucking kidding me right now?" That didn't happen.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I tell you that I can't remember his name, but he was a bad horse. He was powerful. He was powerful. I tell you, it was interesting. That was
Utah, Wyoming. I know you've been to Minnesota, Colorado.
I know. I haven't been to Colorado for an EPP event. I didn't make that one.
Okay. Ohio, Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Of course, the Bay Area. Which is where you live, right?
Right.
And then of course Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah.
What's left? Where do you want to go?
I want to go to Ireland.
I think we know people who.
I want to go to Ireland.
I think we know people who kick it around there somewhere.
That's the place I've always wanted to go my whole life.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a black Irish.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing green right now. You literally have on a green jumpsuit that nobody can see, and gold to go with it. So
so that's why I've always, ever since.
You just want to stick out even more.
I just want to see all the. It's beautiful there. I know it. Yeah. I've never been there, but I know it.
Somebody is listening right now who can make that happen. I'm gonna cross my fingers that it does. You need to go to Ireland for like a month or two.
Whoa, yeah.
You could work remotely, right?
Yeah, I can work.
I mean, Zoom still works in Ireland.
Zoom still goes.
And get your ass over to Ireland, man.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hope it happens. Is that actually doable? If the opportunity came up where it's like, hey, I got an opportunity to go over there for a few weeks or a month or whatever, would you be able to get away to actually do that, or do you have things back home that need daily care? I'm a grandson, but he'll make it. You're old right now, buddy. Yeah, no, he's how old is he? He's 20. Oh, he can handle it. Yeah, he's 20. Okay, so that's not a restricting. I always get him set up. Not a limiting factor, as they say. I get him set up. So in 45 brief minutes, we caught up on the first 8 years, and we're in year 9 now. I think Laura, are you about to leave? Are you about to leave? Yes. Oh, okay. We might pause, but I want to talk about this week. Right. But we'll pause real quick to say bye. Cool. Hey, y'all, it's Clay, and we paused the recording here to say goodbye to our friend Laura, who happened to be there on site where I was recording with Alex, and she had to go, so we paused to say goodbye. And it's actually a really good spot to just stop and share a few words of appreciation for program manager and EPP guide, Laura Hooper. Now, Laura has been on the podcast before, and I don't mean 20 seconds ago when she was saying bye. She was on episode, I want to say 12-ish. I don't remember the exact episode. I do remember the title of that episode. It was called Not a Supposed to Be a Gram. The list of things I appreciate about Laura is quite lengthy, and I will summarize and say that at the top of that list is joy. She is one of the most joyful people I know, and the reason that I probably enjoy that so much is joy is not something that I naturally seek. It's not something that I just automatically experience. And I need a bit of a catalyst, somebody to kind of spark that in me and remind me that that is a thing in life worth experiencing and worth having. And so I absolutely appreciate that about Laura. She has easily one of my favorite laughs in the entire world. And in addition to that, and plus much, much more, she has what I could only define as a glow that just kind of follows her around. And again, not exactly something I experience on my own. And I absolutely love being in the same space with her, whether it's on the inside in prison in a class there, or just out in the world, or even on a Zoom call. It transmits just the same through the internet, thousands of miles away. I absolutely love being in the same space, being a part of the same organization, being a part of any project that Laura is a part of. And this world, and especially EPP, is a much better place with her. And don't just take my word for it. Here are a few other folks from the project to share a few thoughts on Laura Hooper.
Whenever Laura's on a call, I just feel so instantly supported and seen and at ease. I love Laura so much. She just brings so many things. She brings ease, she brings excitement, she brings love, she brings her heart. I just feel like EPP would not be the same without her there. And I don't think I would have had the same experience without working with her. I just really love her energy and her enthusiasm. And she just has so much knowledge and experience. And I don't know, she's just an amazing human. And I was just watching the fireside chat, and Laura's input there was so valuable. Just being able to speak to the guide experience and what EPP needs and what she needs to be supported in her role as a guide. Just hearing her talk about it has brought a lot of light around, I'm sure, to many people, even to myself. I'm not a guide, but just brings a lot of light around what that experience needs and requires, and also what it gives back. So yeah, just really appreciated that. Laura, you're amazing. That's all I have to say. Love you.
I will start off by saying that I do have a bias because Laura is one of my best friends. But what I really appreciate about her is, as long as I've known her, from the day that I have met her, she has always been very open and curious about the people sitting in front of her, and this real wanting to know and understand the individuals and people that are in her presence. And there's a million other things as well. Her ability to hold so many things in her mind when it comes to scheduling and all the things that a program manager needs to know have over the years just simply amazed me. So I have lots of love and appreciation for Laura.
I appreciate Laura Hooper so much. Laura is and has been such a great friend to me since I began working with EPP 2018. She radiates joy and kindness and enthusiasm and positivity. And she embodies our vision to free people all over the world from the prisons of our own making. She is an amazing guide and beautiful human being, and I'm so honored and blessed to work alongside of her.
Laura was my first contact with EPP. I knew I was interested in the mission, but after speaking with her, I was all in to be part of the organization. She is this interesting mix of care and warmth and kindness, this big-hearted inclusiveness, but mixed with a clear-eyed honesty and integrity, a kind of shaken her boots strength, this quality of being able to stay with her values, with her commitment, and with herself. She's a rock. She's a rock for EPP. She shows up. She shows up for all of us, for her students. And most importantly, I think, and so beautifully, she shows up for herself. I always feel seen by Laura. I feel love in her presence, and I feel loved. And I am always inspired by her.
Laura Hooper is one of the most beautiful souls on the planet, and I just consider it a great honor that I know her and that I get to work with her at EPP. I appreciate the hell out of her, and the things that I appreciate most are not the things that she does, and she does a whole heck of a lot at EPP to support the work that we're doing here. But the things that I appreciate most about her is her presence, like how she shows up in the world, how she shows up for herself so that she can show up for EPP, so she can show up for our students, so she can show up for her family. I love you so much, Laura. I appreciate you, and I'm so grateful to be sharing this time and space with you.
I am a sucker for a 7, and I fell for Laura a long time ago. She came to us when we were really tiny, and she sent us a spreadsheet saying, these are all the places that I could come in and support EPP, and this is why you should have me. And we didn't get it. Not that we didn't get Laura, but like we literally didn't receive it. And I shudder to think where we'd be if we hadn't finally opened the email and received all the stuff that Laura had to bring. And so, yes, she has all that. It's funny, the spreadsheet thing. I'm sure she's chuckling listening to that. But Laura is so much more than a spreadsheet. It's like you can't actually calculate or predict or encapsulate what she brings in heart, and the sober ways she's cultivated and honed in on being able to stay with herself and be a guide to other people holding on to themselves. I mean, that is a sober 7. And that's the gift of Laura.
Laura Hooper. What to say? Laura is such a beautiful soul. She's my type 7 partner in crime here. We do so much together and get to be in so many spaces and places together. And she shows up with this unbelievably beautiful heart. And of course, she's uber competent and able to move just so easily through all the things that we need to do in EPP in the back office. But she also is a guide and someone who has an incredible heart for this work. And just to witness her show up time and time again and with her heart on display, and to be able to hold space for others, whether it happens to be others in the project, from an operational perspective, or others on the inside, just holding space and being able to really connect. Just absolutely love being able to work side by side with Laura, and have been for so many years now, and it's been a true blessing.
So we've blown through the first, 8-ish years of your existence with EPP. And where we are, I want to talk about this week. Where we are right now, we're talking, speaking of traveling, we're at neither one of our hometowns.
Yeah.
I'm from Dallas. You're from Oakland.
San Jose.
Okay, I say we'll start that over. I can edit that. I can sound smart. I'm not going to. Well, I think Raiders, and I think of Oakland.
Yeah.
But they don't have a team in San Jose, I guess.
No.
They got hockey. But you don't care about hockey.
Hockey sticks.
They don't have that. I don't think they have that in Ireland, so you're good. We're in San Diego right now.
Right.
And it's a really nice place. Lovely. We're in a pretty nice Airbnb. We're at the dinner table.
Yeah.
I like it here. It's cool here. But this ain't the best place. This ain't the best thing about this place.
Right.
What are we in San Diego for?
RJD, state prison.
Yeah.
You know, we get to go inside these walls. It's a high level security prison, and we get to go in there and do what we do best, and that's help others receive this awesome gift that we live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, help people be free from the prison of their own making.
Yeah.
You know, and help people understand why they do what they do. You know, I remember one time Susan was sharing, how, you do something, kill somebody, but what follows that is, that's not who I am.
Right.
And which is an absolute true statement,
mm-hmm.
But why did you do it, though, is the thing. And so that's this great gift that we get the opportunity to go help present to these individuals who are residents of the state in these facilities.
And a lot of times, often, I guess, in county jails or even in prison in general, like it's a very common thing for folks to be locked up for drugs, for distribution, for using, for owning, possessing, whatever. There's a whole lot of reasons that people get locked up, and is it different to you? Does it matter? Does it feel different? Whatever, when the room has a little bit more violence in their past, where it's not, they didn't just get locked up for a few joints or a bag of weed or whatever, where they are there for killing somebody.
Yeah, no, that's not different at all. It's as a matter of fact, that's exactly who needs this. That's exactly who needs this program. Whereas today, to even identify to the thought patterns of hurting someone, I don't have those. The understanding why someone had the thought pattern of hurting someone, I totally resonate with it, because I used to operate that way. So I totally get that, and that's why they need to know about the Enneagram. That's why they need to learn about themselves. That's because without introducing this knowledge, this wisdom, this tool to them, it doesn't matter. They don't stand a chance. You just might as well keep them, because they'll go back in there and do it again. But when they come to know why I do what I do, then you can, awareness brings about correction.
Yeah. And
so then to give them the guidance, the support, to make these corrections, man, people's lives are being changed.
Yeah.
And for me to sit in this circle and listen to these gentlemen articulate this Enneagram, what they're learning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can put it into words, man, and the awareness and the light and the understanding that they're gaining. And this is just within days. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I want to backtrack just a little bit real quick and talk. And she just mentioned, I just want to mention last week when we had the graduation in San Quentin.
Yes.
I mean, huge. And matter of fact, last week, can't put dates to it, but January, what is that? I don't know.
You talking about on Wednesday of last week?
Wednesday last week.
I think it was the 18th, wasn't it?
Okay, so let's say the 18th to the 25th, the 23rd was like a historic week for EPP,
Yeah.
because we had the graduation at San Quentin
on Wednesday the 18th, January the 18th.
January 18th, where Chuck went back in.
Mm-hmm. Another one of our ambassadors.
Another one of our ambassadors went back in through the front door, of an institution that he did time in.
Yeah.
Of an institution where there were still people that he did time with.
Right.
Where officers knew him who that was like, either harassed him or they had a cordial understanding.
Right.
And they got to see him.
In street clothes, shining like a new nickel. A new penny, rather. I didn't want to demote him to a penny, but and they get to see. They get to see not the finished product, but what the work do. Yeah. A
product that is putting work in action, And then we had Sue going back into San Mateo, institution, a facility where she was a resident of. And she went back in by herself to present, to teach, to be a guide of the Enneagram.
Yeah.
Historical. She was living, breathing proof of the lesson plans that she was giving.
Right.
And then we had Dustin.
Yeah.
Going way over in Belgium.
Yeah.
Into a facility, to represent and to articulate and to help people get an understanding.
Yeah.
And to give support to the guys that also went over there. Very powerful. Very powerful.
It's a big deal.
Yes. So we as ambassadors, we're just not wearing a label of ambassador, but we really go forth to represent what the Enneagram Prison Project is all about. My bishop used to say we got to put some hands and feet to our faith. Mm-hmm. So we're putting hands and feet and heart to our ambassadorship.
Yeah, to the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times, and maybe this is just my perspective, I think we get a pass from a lot of people because we're out here, we're doing better and all that. And I think it's maybe some of it is deserved or even earned, I guess, because we've been out. A lot of us have been out for several years now,
right?
And have stayed out, and that could be tricky sometimes. But we've done it, and so but we do get a pass. We absolutely get a pass a lot of times. Or maybe there's a better way to say that. People look at us and go, "Wow, that's great."
They give you favor.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
Favor, privilege. There's a bazillion ways to say it, and it's not always true for folks on the inside to get that same benefit. And I want to ask a question. I've asked this of others before, but I'm curious how this hits you. What would you say to the listener who's hearing this and going, Alex, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad all this is awesome and I believe in you and this is great. But that dude who's doing a life sentence for murder, who may not even ever get out, why are we wasting our time on that guy?
I could have probably easily been that dude. I was that dude. The deal is just because you murdered somebody, don't mean that's who you are. But if we look at hurting people, hurt people. So if we can get that individual who's hurting people to look at his hurt and to be healed from his hurt, then hurting people, he's not hurting no more. He's not that person.
Yeah.
And, then we can come to a place of the individual hopefully can move to a place of self-forgiveness. There's still consequences.
Yeah.
Yes, there's still a family that's missing a person from the dinner table. There's other things that's taking place, but that person can be healed today and go forward. Everybody, every living soul deserves a chance of what is called salvation.
Yeah.
Total forgiveness.
It's an unpleasant question.
Yeah.
I pose it in a way that's not fun to hear on purpose.
Right.
Because there are people that, and I don't, by the way, to be clear, I'm not mocking them or I'm not shitting on them for asking the question. Because for a long time I thought that way. Fuck that guy.
Right.
And it's a point of growth for me to accept that's the reality is that folks, it's not even fair to say that they can change, in my opinion. Sometimes it's more like how can we help them go back to who they are?
Who they are, right.
And I've said this on the inside. I say this every time I get a chance to, is that I genuinely believe, and it's more important for me to stress this for the incarcerated just because of their history often. I truly believe that people are good. I think that inside of us all, to put it more clearly, is goodness looking for a place to happen.
Mm.
I just believe that. And you can stomp on that, hurt it, and wad it up, and mess with it, and scar it. And sometimes the good stuff doesn't quite happen, and the painful stuff happens instead.
Right.
And I still believe there is a point of healing where we can go back to that goodness waiting for a place to happen.
Waiting for a place to happen.
Is it true?
It's waiting for, but see, to bring the goodness in, you got to go through the pain.
Yeah.
You got to go through the pain. And the belief that the pain's going to be so great it's going to kill me, well, let's see.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to. Yeah, I got another analogy for pain, but
Let's hear it.
pain, pain. I never gave, I witnessed childbirth. I never gave it.
Yeah.
But pain brings forth life.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, that's probably one of the greatest pains a human body can ever go through, and it brings forth life. It brings forth life. So that's my analogy with pain. The pain that we think is going to kill us, it's going to bring forth life.
And it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Right.
So in a class, whether it's on the inside, whether it's public programming,
Mm-hmm.
wherever it is, there's no promise of sunshine and rainbows. I mean, they may get there eventually, but it's not a fluffy, fun process to go through, and it's gonna sting.
Yeah.
There's a couple ouchies in there. I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to think about this. I don't want to revisit that.
Right. And that's all part of the process, you know, and to hold those individuals with compassion. Okay. Well, let's just hold and talk about what you want to, though. Okay. Well, there's a table big enough right here to put all this other stuff on for the side. And that's the compassion, man. And we get to give that today. We get to give it full force, man. And it was on display today.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
on the inside.
An individual found a soft spot to land for all that hurt and pain he'd been carrying. He couldn't cut off the spigot, man.
Right.
You know?
And if you want to share more about that, you can. We can skip the name and share as much as we want.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful thing. As much as he may have sound all distorted and all lost and all confused, and all I seen was an individual that really found a spot where he can really speak and just unload all this trauma that he's been holding on to. And as we noticed throughout the whole course, and at the end, you said it best. It sounds like he's coming around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it's
by that last statement he made.
Yeah. It's a bummer sometimes that we can't say names and tell details.
Yeah.
It's sometimes that toughest person. When I say tough, I don't mean strength, stubborn one. I just mean that woman. It's just hard. Some nuts are hard to crack.
Right.
But you know that once you crack them,
mm-hmm.
that's a future ambassador right there.
Yeah,
could be.
But at first it sounded like he was
being an asshole.
We gonna sign him up for class.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah.
We're a little over an hour here.
Cool.
We're getting long. I only have two more questions.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's pretty specific, and then one of them is more open ended. Going back to kind of chatting about this a minute ago about people deserve a second chance and being there for folks who are wanting to change and all that goes along with that. If and I guess just try to imagine somebody listening to this who's kind of on the fence about whether or not to get involved, to help, to be a part of EPP. And maybe they know something about the Enneagram. Maybe they don't know jack shit, but they know that they care about people. And we have lots of places to serve where we can help people.
Right.
And so to that person, if they're asking, hey, what can I do? Who do I even ask? What's the question? What am I even want to know? I just want to help and I don't know what to do. What would you say to that person?
Well, you said it best. Maybe they know the Enneagram, maybe they don't. And even if they do know the Enneagram, my thing is we have the online courses, but I think it's getting ready to start. And we will continue them. It's just not as often. But you got to get involved with the online courses so you can get introduced to our culture. It's a culture. When you embody things, it's a culture, it's a way of life. And so to be able to understand why we do what we do, why we teach like we teach, why we give the compassion like we give it, why we are what we are. Well, you take these, online courses, or you get involved with the Enneagram Prison Project classes somewhere, wherever it's offered, so you can learn our culture. That's the absolute first thing.
Can they email you?
You can email somebody.
You'll forward it to somebody else.
I sure will, quick.
And for the sake of clarity, I'll say that there is info at EnneagramPrisonProject.org.
Right.
Probably the best place to start.
Online. Enneagram Prison Project.
Yeah. And if they want to holler at Alex, it's the same except Alex instead of info.
Yeah.
Or me, Clay instead of info. Clay at EnneagramPrisonProject.org. One final question. First of all, thank you for sitting and chatting with me. This was kind of spur of the moment. I did ask you earlier today.
Yeah.
But normally people have more than a few hours notice before we sit down and get the mics out and record some stuff for quite a few people to hear. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, you fancy, man. This is cool setup.
It's pretty neat. All the pretty colors and the mic's got the headphones. And you can hear the difference too. Go listen when this goes up, and you can hear the difference between this and that episode 1. That episode 1 was fun, but it wasn't the level of professional production.
All right.
And so we're on another level. But it's all jokes aside, all silliness aside. Thank you for sitting down and sharing so much of yourself, which is something you're very good at. I enjoy it. I have a lot of respect for you. I care greatly for you. You're my brother as far as I'm concerned.
Same here, ditto.
And I love the hell out of you, man. I'm really glad that you're around and the world is better with Alex in it.
Thank you, Clay.
I want to leave you with the last word. I don't really have a question. I'll just say that anything that you want to share, and I have 30 something hours left of recording time, so don't worry about time. Anything you want to say, any last words? I'm literally gonna turn my mic off and just turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Clay. I appreciate it. And I'm not gonna say too much, but the one thing I will say is we living in such a hurting society. It's just so much abuse, so much hurt, so much pain, and to where we have more people giving up on people than we have people really wanting to help people, because there's that loss. They don't know what to do. It seems like a big old hopeless case. But for me, I'm going to always be somebody else's hope. I want to be somebody else's hope because somebody was my hope once upon a time. I was a hopeless case once upon a time, and I'll never forget that. And it was other people who was my hope. And so they stayed that way until this transformation took place. Now I have that responsibility, and I believe that the more lives we continue to touch, the more hope we can continue to just shower this dying, decaying world. That we're just going to be that light, and we'll be that beacon of light that will help one of these souls to keep from shipwrecking somewhere. And if we only get one soul, we take that. But I do know, because this thing we do is so powerful, so many more souls are going to be saved. They're going to be restored. They're going to be healed. And it's a ripple effect. It's the definite ripple effect. So that's why I believe in the Enneagram Prison Project. And that's why I believe it continue to go forth in my faith. And this helps me go forward in my faith. And to make a difference in this world. I'm not going to give up on this world. The world didn't give up on me.
For more information about EPP, please visit EnneagramPrisonProject.org. We appreciate your time and attention today. Stay tuned for future episodes of the podcast, which you can expect on the first Tuesday of every month as we continue to tell the story of the Enneagram Prison Project.